Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my page. My name is Terry Ryan, and I dedicate this channel to things we go through during our life. This all came about when I wrote my book. I went through domestic violence, and I decided after years of going through post-traumatic stress syndrome, I wanted to write a book of my story, which helped me heal somewhat, and also write down the things that I'd learnt by it. This is my book. It's called I Survived Domestic Violence and Stalking. I actually did the graphics on this too. It's a little bird here. It's supposed to represent a fragile bird breaking free and breaking apart from the torment that you go through. Anyway, I decided there were lots of books on domestic violence out there, and I wanted to do a little bit of a twist with it. So I wanted to actually put a positive twist on it and write in the back of the book, which is here. I'm not sure if that's going to be backward or not. Lessons that I'd learnt after all the years going through domestic violence. So I actually put them all in the back of the book, the things that I learnt, and I listed it in point form. And also, if you'd like to buy a copy of my book is it's on Amazon, Mexico, USA and Canada. I've also been told it's going other places now as well, throughout the world. And you can buy a copy of this on my website, which is terry-ryan.com, and also you can go to my Facebook page, which is Terry Ryan Author, which is on Facebook, or you can contact me there with a message. If you go on my website, there is a tool. And if you're living locally, I also have it in Swells at Heathcote at the gift shop down in High Street. You can go there and purchase a copy also. But I have been going through topics one by one. I wrote a lot of things in the book, but I missed a lot of things also, and I've been going topic by topic through the book. But today's topic, what I wanted to talk about is a little bit of a mixture of pride and asking for help and helping yourself. And how I wanted to start was, I actually came across a meme the other day on Facebook, which I thought was interesting. It was a little comical one, and it was written, I thought it was, even though it was written in comic form, I thought the message was really good. And it was, it went something like this. It went, Piglet, what is the bravest word that you've ever used? And Pooh said, help. And I thought, well, that is really interesting, because after going through domestic violence, you tend to put walls up where you don't ask for help, and because you're bound with fear, you have so much fear around you that you're really frightened to reach out to people, and you're frightened to trust people. And after leaving my partner with the domestic violence, I was very frightened of people, and I didn't know who I could or I couldn't trust. So therefore I got this sense of independence where I had to do everything for myself, and I thought this was a very interesting topic about help, because it's a very fine line between helping yourself and needing help. And also it went along with the lines of pride as well, because pride is a very good thing. Pride's great to have. It's great to be proud of your own achievements, proud of something you've done, or proud of your children. But then you can take it, if you overdo pride, then you can overdo it, because by overdoing pride in your actions of thinking yourself better and proud of your own achievements, you more or less are condescending towards others, and you tend to put others down, and others are belittled by your attitude of your pride. And you've got to be very careful about that, that sometimes if you do have a pride in yourself, you can come across as somebody who is condescending, or somebody who is arrogant, or somebody who is saying that they're better than what you are. So you've got to be careful with pride. But as I say, pride is a good thing, and it's just like everything else. Everything in moderation is great. In fact, you know, if you go one way or the other, it doesn't go. But if you stay in the happy medium, you stay in the middle, it is great. And this goes with help too. Like, as I was saying before, I did need help when I was in my situation with domestic violence. I did actually help myself. I got out, but there was lots of things that were left behind. I needed help to move stuff out of the violent home, and I couldn't have done that on my own without asking for help. So in a situation where you have been hurt and you're starting to put the walls up, there comes a time when you have to realise that you do need help, because if you are a person who's out there and you look like you're proud and you look like you can do everything for yourself, people aren't going to help you, because they think, well, she's fine, you know, she's got it all under control. And yet behind those walls you might be completely shattered, completely falling apart, and you desperately do need help, but you're too proud in yourself, or you're too frightened in yourself to ask for that help. So it's important to let walls down so that people can help you, and sometimes it's very valuable to show yourself as vulnerable, because a bit of vulnerability will go miles, leaps and bounds in the way of getting you help. I remember talking to somebody recently about asking for help, and I said to them, well, did you tell them the reason why you need the help? Did you tell them your situation? And they said, no, I didn't. I said, well, therefore they haven't seen you in a vulnerable state, so therefore they don't feel like that they need to give you help, because they think that you're capable of helping yourself. And so sometimes a few tears go a very long way. But having saying that about asking for help, you do get the people who they sponge off people. They ask for help all the time, or they cry poor all the time, or they cry sick all the time, or they cry you know, in a vulnerable state all the time, to the point where they are putting pressure on everybody, and they're wanting, but they're not willing to help themselves. Well, that's tipping the scales the other way, and also that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to do that, because you'll find people won't want to be around you if you're constantly draining their resources all the time, or draining their finances all the time, or it could even be just time. You might be demanding time with people, and that's also not a good thing. You have to find that happy medium, because as far as help goes, nobody can help you unless you help yourself. And that was a very early lesson that I learned actually from my father. I'll tell you a little story. When I was a child, my father was a carpenter and used to take us kids out onto the job. And there was a time he was building a house down in Rosebud, and it was in bushland down there. And he was at the stage where he was doing the floorboards. It was the very foundation of the house. And he used to take us kids down there with him, and he'd give us hammer and nails, and he'd say, go for your life. And we thought it was, wonderful. It was wonderful going down there helping Dad. We felt very important having a hammer and nails, even though a lot of the nails, they were nailed in and they were all crooked and everything, and he had to go over them sometimes, but it kept us totally amused, and we just loved thinking that we were out there on the job with Dad. Anyway, this one morning he took us down there, and as I got out of the car, I walked into a nest of bull ants. They were those black jumper ants. They were, like about a centimetre long, and they were jumping up all on my legs. It was a pretty warm day. It was in summertime, and they were jumping up on my knees and they were biting me all up my legs. And being the little kid I was only about 6 or 7, and I stood there screaming. I was just screaming, crying, not moving. And I remember the words of my father. He said, "Well, don't just stand there. Help yourself. Move. Do something to help yourself. Get out of it. Get out of the situation." And I remember coming back to that many times in my life, thinking, well, you've got to help yourself first. This is what you have to do. You have to help yourself first. But as I say, I took that lesson and I reflected on that, and I've reflected on that over the years of how important it is that if you're in a situation that's bad, the first thing you've got to do is help yourself. And it reminded me of the AA prayer that they say, the serenity prayer that they say, that try to change the situation and the things that you can't change, accept. Well, it's a similar type of thing. You try and help yourself first, and then you ask for help. If you can't change the situation, bring down your barriers, take away your independence, take away your pride, and ask for help. And show your vulnerabilities, because that's the way that people will help you. If you're going to people, there's a difference with saying something. I'll give you an example. "I need money." If you said something like that to somebody, what would be the answer? I mean, the answer would be no. But if you went to that person and you showed your vulnerability and you've said, "I've tried everything I can and I've got the bills and everything and I've done everything I can and I don't know what I'm going to do," and even a few tears maybe, how much more is that person going to want to help you? They will help you, because it's human nature. We want to help. So it is all about first helping yourself. Then if you can't help yourself, you try everything in your damn power to find a way where you can help yourself. And if that means asking somebody else for help, or going to government departments, or asking people for advice, this is what you do. You don't be the person who sponges and just always ask for everything. And you don't be the person also that clams up and doesn't want to ask anybody, and then in the end you end up so anxious and so wound up and depressed that you want to do away with yourself because you won't break down those walls and you won't show your vulnerability, and in the end it kills you because of it. So that's what I wanted to speak about today, about help, about pride, that pride can be considered just like salt, and if you put too much salt on your food, you ruin it, and same goes with pride. If you overdo the pride and you're too proud, then you're ruining it for yourself. And so the things that I wanted to talk about was helping yourself, knowing when to ask for help, having your pride, be proud of your achievements, be proud of your children, but don't be proud to the point where you become condescending to others and arrogant to others, and in a state where people think that you are putting yourself above everybody else. So that was all I wanted to talk about today, and I hope everyone has a nice day. We are now in autumn, which has put a smile on my face. The mornings and the nights are cooler, which makes it a lot easier for sleeping. And I just hope everybody has a nice time, and until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.